The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
Oh man, so our final topic too is something a little different, where it's more or less it's more of a respect thing, but from divisions that necessarily, unlike what we just talked about, the fights do happen for various reasons, but they happen. Basically I want to talk about are the lighter weights, and then lighter weights and pound for pound status. For a little background into this conversation, now as we know, like the lighter weights, which is pretty much sub 122 super bantamweight, have not really been the most popular divisions in America. You go to Mexico, you go to Japan, any Asian country or whatever, and Africa too. Like the lighter weights are, they're in the board division. I don't think the lighter weights have probably been. I mean, in the olden days, like the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even the 50s, the lighter weights were among the popular. Well, of course, there were only 8 divisions back then, and but then also in America, they haven't been really as popping as much because there's not really been an American fighter that's actually captured the imagination, quote unquote. What's that?
I was saying Mark Too Sharp Johnson.
Yeah, you had your Mark Too Sharps, and you had your Michael Carvalho.
But it's been rare. I mean, I get your point. I'll just fucking with you, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's very, very rare. So it's just like when you're trying to, like I said, not a lot of people actually throw a lot of respect on it, because usually when you say, oh, it's a good fight at 115, 118 or whatever, niggas are like, who? And
I could beat their ass. Like, I mean, he was like 112 pounds. Like, nigga, that ain't shit. Like,
and like another thing too, like, I mean, probably one of the biggest victims of this in the last couple of years is Ricardo Lopez. Ricardo Lopez retired undefeated. He's like 51-0-1 draw. I had the pleasure of actually catching his final fight because he on the Tito Hopkins pay-per-view card. I happened to catch that. I mean, back then I didn't really know the real significance of me actually watching that, because I think this is one of the openers. But, now that I'm a lot older, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I saw a Ricardo Lopez fight live. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. And then, even then, Ricardo Lopez is probably one of the top fighters in the last 25 years. It doesn't really get any mention.
One of the most fluid 1-2s you'll ever see.
Right. Boxing, like, and dude was probably one of the, was the boxer personified, Doesn't get, but like I said, outside of in America, outside of the hardcore, in America, only the really hardcore fans really mention. And unfortunately, he's mentioned because he retired undefeated and he has 50 wins. He's usually brought up in Floyd Mayweather arguments, unfortunately, and it's just one of those things. And that's where he gets, his accomplishments get downplayed. It's like it gets consistently downplayed. Like, who did he fight? What did he do? You know what I'm saying? Because he fought in a division that's not really popular in America.
And you could run off names of opponents and tell people their records and the significance, and be like, well, you got names over this guy, this guy, that guy, and it's like, well, man, that nigga ain't shit. He's nobody. And then they name somebody that is just a bigger fighter, and they're not necessarily better, but they're just bigger and more noticeable, more known, and it's a lot of. I don't want to educate myself on that, but I want to speak in that arena type shit that goes on.
Right,
and then that's really what it comes down to.
Right, and then in this particular decade too, HBO of all from all TV, of all networks, and one of the final things they did that that was real. I thought it was really was good for American boxing TV audiences was highlighting the lighterweights more, specifically the flyweights and the super flyweights. Basically, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, and like I said, that's probably one of the best things that HBO had done, because now it gave someone like him an audience. And Chocolatito, for the most part, was entertaining as fuck to watch. Like when HBO started putting him on, he shined, and then of course.
And that's the thing, and he already reached his pinnacle, and he was like maybe on the other side of his peak. Like you didn't see the prime, the best, like Chocolatito on HBO. You didn't see the best of him. That's the sad part. So it's like a lot of people just go off what they saw on HBO as his career without assessing his whole career, which is a shame. But niggas don't like to educate themselves, but they want to speak in that shit.
Right, and the thing that I think that people start aggravating, aggravating about Chocolatito is like fighter. I was like, yeah, I mean, no. Do I think Chocolatito was pound number one? No, I do not. I didn't. I never thought he actually had that number one spot. But I do think at a point he was like top 5. Certainly a top 10.
He was, but then after Ward was gone, it's like I felt like Chocolatito. It's like, who had a better case than Chocolatito? No one can really say that, but when you try to explain why he has a good case, everybody just, he ain't fight nobody. But then when you name opponents and accomplishments, all that shit, and records, then it's, oh man, it's just, well, whatever I say goes. That ain't nobody. Cause motherfucker don't know about him. So I mean, I felt like Chocolatito was worthy of being pound for pound number one for the brief moment he was there. I mean, shit. How many times we hear people boosting up fucking Ward resume to make him greater than what he is?
Right.
Shit. You got motherfuckers saying Froch and Kovalev are Hall of Famers to make Ward look better.
And I know Ward I've always mentioned too. Froch has pretty much the same amount of victories. Like Froch fought who Ward fought, with the exception of Lucien Boutte. And Froch had to be the one to take away Boutte's 0 because Ward wouldn't do it. And he was actually do it. Because Ward jumped to HBO after the.
He needed to fight Kovalev twice to get him. Then he retires with light heavyweight is damn, is beasting right now.
And then, like I said, and he didn't do he won the 3 belts, but everyone knows that Superman was the lineal champion. He was the man of the division. Yeah. That was if he wanted.
Especially when Superman was a guy who eclipsed your best win in the Dawson fight.
Exactly.
He should have been one to go to, and to me, what fucked up Ward career to me personally
was the injury and the layoff of Houston.
The injuries, the whole management bullshit happening with him and Jay Prince and Goosen, and I felt like he could have fucking went up to light heavyweight a lot earlier with that Dawson fight. Yeah, could have already been running light heavyweight before Stevenson and Kovalev even emerged on the scene.
Right.
I feel like his whole last 5 years of his career was mismanaged.
Yeah.
He a Hall of Famer, no doubt, but I can't come up there and be saying all these niggas he beat was Hall of Famers like everybody tried to do shit. Cause then I look at it like, then what's stopping? So you mean to tell me Brian Valoria ain't shit?
Yeah, exactly. Brian, people's like, I mentioned like Brian Valoria, he was probably another underrated American. Like Brian Valoria was Chocolatito as close as you can get to an American version until he got old, But Brian Valoria used to have some fucking wars in that. Like dude was on point, But like I said, but Brian Valoria never got the pound for pound designation that Chocolatito got for whatever reason. That's a little different situation.
Because I mean, Chocolatito was obviously a better boxer, more skilled, had the better wins. Valoria will fall apart in the bigger fights, but he still had a good career, still solid.
Yes, very solid.
Ross was the Chocolatito fight.
Was that?
I said one of his last hurrahs was the Chocolatito fight.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, we cannot mention Vic Darchinyan too. Vic Darchinyan was probably one of the scariest motherfuckers in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Sub 122. Like, I mean, Vic Darchinyan is probably a Hall of Famer, but unfortunately,
I think he is. But you know, he might be like a second ballot. Like, I don't know if people get him in their first ballot, but I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, dude unified 115. That's like, I mean, Darchinyan in his prime was a monster. I mean, he brutalized people. But unfortunately with Darchinyan, you know, he fought too long and he aged out and got into divisions he had no business being in, and became a victim. But at least Darchinyan did get at some point at points great. He was pound for pound. He did get that designation, and he's probably one of the few lightweights that actually people respected to get it because he was, you know, he was on American TV, and then he was brutalizing the fuck out of these people on American TV.
It took Chocolatito a while, and then it's like I felt like Chocolatito was at the bottom of a lot of pound for pound lists.
Yeah, because
like ever. But like, you didn't see him move like until recently.
Right, and then Chocolatito, I think the reason why a lot of people like to say, because like I said, people always pay attention. HBO has an agenda. I'm like, pay attention to the man's career. Like I think there were people just waiting. Like, I mean, when pretty much Chocolatito had his last prime hurrah against Quadras, you know, people were just like, you know, that's pound for pound. Like, he won the fourth belt he won his fourth belt in his fourth division. You know,
against a guy who was regarded. You know, Quadras was no bum.
And he was undefeated.
He could fight. Yeah, exactly. So it's like people are not assessing these boxers objectively. Like,
right.
You can tell that Quadras was going to be a handful for Chocolatito, and it was a good fight. I thought Chocolatito won 7 rounds to 5. I thought it was a clear win. He had Quadras on the run on the back foot all night, just digging into him. But he was eating punches too.
Right,
you know?
and low key, that fight probably took a lot of. That was the beginning of the end for Chocolatito. Then, of course, you know, we enter Sirsuke Sorungsai, who was not as, who's not as what's the word I want to use for King Sor? Heralded. There we go. That's a good word. Heralded is a good dictionary word. I like.
But if you knew, he was another tough customer. So it's like, the thing is, a lot of people, since they don't watch these fighters, they don't get to see who's who. They don't know, okay, this could be a good matchup. This could be a good, and you even see that up to them. I could say even 126 with featherweight. You know, a lot of people, you know, don't really start watching. You know, people really can't really talk about fights until they start talking to 130. Like, even featherweight is kind of shaky sometimes as far as people knowing what they're talking about and what they're assessing. What'll happen is one fighter will get a little popular, and then people just only focus on that person, and they don't see the rest of the landscape. A lot of people did that with Riggin Diao.
Yeah. And they did it with Chocolatito too. That's the thing. And you know, Chocolatito subsequently, you know, he lost his prime in brutal fashion and a 0 to Sorungsai. And now it's just like, well, this nigga, he was never pound for pound anyway. I mean, well, he's
all a favor for like the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, like he lost to a known Thai fighter, you know, and who eats rats? Yes, exactly, who eats rats. You know, long live the Rat King. You know, and then subsequently, Sorungsai actually got more popular than Chocolatito ever did in his prime in America. Go figure.
So it's like, that's how, you know, boxing's unforgiving. Not everybody gets their moment. Some people get robbed of their moment. Some people never get it.
But I think the common thing is just they don't get the respect that they deserve. Like,
that's one thing I wish everybody would get. You know, you might not get your moment. You might not get it. You might get your moment taken away, but give the respect, man.
Right.
You're going to pound for pound discussions, and you know, you can't just list a bunch of popular fighters and then when people challenge you on it and they could give you facts, and you know, they're telling you like, oh well, this guy is undefeated, he beat 3 undefeated champions, and You know, he took this guy, he knocked this guy out, da 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 da. He's doing everything else that you awarding these more popular people who are doing it, but with better competition. And you know, niggas is just like, oh, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Nigga, da da da, you hating, da da da. It's like, come on, man. Like, that's why I talk about boxing.
Yeah, I mean, and there's another thing I want to like, just also too, like just about a couple of weeks ago, we had a wonderful fight against Angel Acosta, who's a light flyweight, that's 108 pounds, versus Elwin Soto. Now, most people, the conception with lighter weight fighters is they throw a lot of punches. No shit. When you're 100 and something pounds, you have the stamina to do it. There's no such thing as a sloppy, 100 and a low output fighter. You would think that most people would actually enjoy watching fights that are thrown at a frenetic pace. There's no slowdown. Go figure. But this fight too, like I said, it was a wonderful fight. They were throwing fades at each other. They were hurting each other. Yeah, and most people think they don't hurt each other. They do hurt each other. They really do. Yeah. A lot. Like injuries, like serious, like head injuries and stuff like that. It happens a lot at these divisions. Most people don't know about it. And the Acosta Soto fight was serious fade that ended in a fade. And then I feel like it didn't get the respect that it deserved. I was like, that was a pretty. It was probably one of the better fights of this year, at that weight, at the sub 122 level. But like I said, people just didn't respect it because 108 pounders. And then what were you talking about before in terms of people about the pound for pound discussion? That segues into really what triggered me to want to talk about this. Monster. That's the only way I want to say Monster. And now, as we all know, Monster anyway, he is in the World Boxing Super Series tournament for Bantamweight 118 right now. And dude has been wreaking havoc for a minute now. Like wreaking serious havoc. Like as I mentioned before, one of the best things HBO did was start the Superfly cards. Superfly 1, 2, and then 3 unfortunately was not seen, although on HBO was not really seen as much because it was unfortunately another bigger fight was held on that day. But Superfly 1 and 2 were some of the best boxing you've seen in a minute. And Monster I think made his debut on Superfly 2? Yeah, it was Superfly 2. And then people got to see, and the American audience got to see for the first time what the hype was all about. And you saw Monster, punish the poor cat, for about 6 rounds. So Monster goes from there to winning a secondary. He won a secondary title, one of the secondary bantamweight titles, the WBA, from Jamie McDonald, in a round. And he goes into the tournament. Like Jamie McDonald had never been stopped before as a fighter, and he was stopped in one brutal round. Enter Juan Carlos Payano. He goes into the tournament. That's his first round fight. Never been stopped before. Stopped in the first round.
Off the first clean combination.
Exactly. I'm talking about rigor mortis status.
Yeah, it's like people, and this is the thing, it's like people love Tyson and all them early KOs he had, and it's like y'all seeing it right now, but it's like your ego won't allow you to just enjoy the whole sport of boxing. You're letting your preconceived notions about the lighter weights, not being as important or as skilled as the higher weights. So you're missing out on like historic, level boxing.
Right, and exactly. And then go into his last fight. It's Manuel Rodriguez. So Manuel Rodriguez is a tough guy. He was a champion and had never been stopped before. He was stopped in 2 rounds. Like, you ever understand how crazy Monster has had 18 fights, give or take. So he has stopped his last 7 or 8 opponents. I think 7 of them. It was the first time they were actually stopped in their careers. That's an insane statistic. Like very few punchers are that prolific. to be the ones to actually be the first to actually to stop people, and he's done it like I think he's like 6 or 7 in a row right now. Right now, it's unbelievable. So going back to like 2016. 2016 is also the last time he actually went the distance, the full distance. It's the only time he's ever won the 12-round distance. Like Monster, as he's wreaked havoc in 4 different divisions, or 3 different divisions. Excuse me, 3 different divisions, and he should be recognized as pound for pound. Like he's earned the pound for pound status. Like I mean, and depending
to me, shit.
And depending on how he goes, because he's facing Donaire next, which is going to be his legacy fight right now. Because Donaire, he's a past prime great who won some title, who's enjoying a real career resurgence. He has no momentum. He's going for like this is going to be a legacy fight right now. That's coming up for him. Monster has pretty much all the characteristics of someone that should be top 5 pound for pound on there. But when for some reason, as you mentioned before, when it comes to doing these pound for pound discussions, like they'll put someone like Deontay Wilder, who hasn't done a motherfucking thing in this division, and to earn in his own division. Never mind or you have Errol Spence. Now Errol Spence has talent, but he has not done anything to me to actually say, oh, he's pound for pound. Seriously,
like
top 5.
Not top 10. Hell no. Like to me, honestly, it's like if he beats Sean Porter, dominate him, now he'll probably be pound for pound worthy. Top number 10 type shit.
Right.
I felt like Hurd was more deserving of pound for pound.
Yeah, because Hurd took away.
But Hurd was on less lists.
Yeah, Hurd took away 2 belts from 2 different champions. Joshua won belts from 3 different people. It was like he was, but it's Wilder, who only has 2 victories over fighters that were champions. That someone gets on this list.
Only fought like 1 mandatory.
Right. And then
just ran jobbers and contenders and shit.
But when you mention Monster, anyway, you get what does he fight? Or he's 118. Like they fight anybody there. No shit, they have to fight everyone on there because it's not a popular division, and a lot of the fighters have to fight each other. And most of the time, the fights get made. And even more importantly, they're good fights to watch.
And it allows you to really evaluate the boxers. Like you really get to see, okay, like this guy, he's the man. This person, he's on this level. Whereas a lot of these higher level divisions, you'll have 4 or 5 champions, and you don't know who the best one because none of them fight each other. Or nobody. Some paths to a championship are a lot easier than somebody else's path. So
right.
It's all hate. Look at 154. 154 is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, 154 used to be a division I shitted on for pretty much the reason that Floyd held 2 of the 154 belts hostage and only defended that belt defended those belts like 3 times at that division. And 154 stagnated because Floyd wouldn't go up to 154 completely. And when 154 was a wasteland, it was as bad as 147. 154 has since leveled up. Like at first, it was just like they started having some of the contenders mixing in each other. The Thought, you know what I'm saying? And then of course the significant fights they start coming into play. And it ended up with we getting like one of the best fights of last year with Hurd and Laura. And even this year now we have J Rock and Hurd. Stuff
and
like that.
Castano Laura was a good fight as well.
Yeah, 154.
Yeah, even though it was a draw, it was competitively. It was a good, entertaining. I'm not saying it was fight of the year, but it was a good fucking fight especially for Laura standards. But everything you said just illustrates my point that all these guys finally, having an epiphany in the middle of the night and fighting each other. We now realize that a lot of these niggas were on the same level and nobody really was that much better than the other. Whereas that doesn't really play out usually at the lower weights because, like you said, they gotta fight each other all the time. So you was able to see Darchinian run divisions because he had to fight all the top guys.
Right.
Where, you know, these higher level niggas, they get to pick and choose, and I can fight this nigga, that nigga. I'll fight him next year, or I'll fight him, someday. And that's why we'll have guys jumping multiple weight classes together, and they never fucking fight. That's why we have fucking both Charlos and Andre and Canelo, who've all been in the same divisions at least once, mostly twice, and none of them have fought each other.
Facts.
You don't get that at the lower weights. Shit, you had these niggas fighting 2 and 3 times. So we had Daenerys and Darchinian fight twice. Right. That was no need, and we got that fight.
Exactly.
But shit, by now we should have had a fucking J-Rock heard about to happen again. Okay, cool. But we should have been had Charlo and fucking Heard before that. We should have been had Heard, Canelo, all these other fights, Andre, all these other fights we should have had, but we still ain't have them, or we might have them. Whereas the lighter weights, we usually get them unless fucking, a robbery or somebody has an upset and something don't happen.
Right.
Big difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very big difference. And it's just like, just because they're in the light doesn't mean that they're not putting in work. They're putting in, like, Abner Maris, that's another example of someone who
fought everybody.
And who not pound for pound, but definitely was hovering on a pound for pound 10 rating, before the loss to Johnny Gonzalez.
He was going pound for pound. As soon as he finally got on, I think, the ring pound for pound list, I think he was number 10.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was off of the Ponce de Leon KO.
Yeah,
he finally got there, and that's when he lose. But in reality, Mares already did enough to be on that list a year earlier. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, since people don't like to evaluate the lighter fighters, they take forever to put them on their fucking pound for pound list. And so by the time they get on there, you see them at the end of their career, or they're on the downward of their peak, or they're getting out of their prime, and then you see them for a couple months or whatever. You see them fight a couple times, and then they lose, and then you're like, man, why y'all put this nigga on this list? He garbage, man. Like, dude, like y'all was hyping him up, and it's like, dude, he had a career before all that happened. And the same thing happened to Abner Mares. He deserved to be on the list after the fucking shit. You could say the second Egbeko fight, really, or like you could honestly say from then, but he didn't get on there until way after, and then boom, he loses. Chocolatito, shit, he was on the list, but you had a competition up there. But by the time he got to number one, people, you had the magnifying glass on his career, and then people was looking at it like, oh, this all he was all this time. So
right,
it takes so long, like you say, to give these guys recognition, that a lot of the casuals, and I'm not gonna call you a hardcore, because a real hardcore fucks with all the divisions, so you might a lot of these niggas might just be advanced casuals.
Advanced casuals.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see what else, because a lot of these pound for pound boxing lists be looking like popularity lists, bro.
First, there's it's like you can't, when I see someone like Leo Santa Cruz on there, I get the fuck out of here. Like, you shouldn't.
What has he done lately? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's just like, and there's some people that are on there. Like, it raises you have maybe a Regis Prograis who's not yet. Or
he's not there yet. To me, it's like, why are we jumping these guys on the list when it's like, okay, don't put no one. He shouldn't be on the list until he get that win over Josh Taylor, and even then, that might not be enough. But it'd be a start. If he got on after that win, I wouldn't even complain. But that's the thing. People putting these dudes on these lists, and it's like they don't belong yet.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. And I think. Yeah, it's just like, you know, people, and it's just like, you know, when you do it, but then when you mention someone who's actually putting in work at the lighter weights, and make no mistake, I don't think every lighter weight fighter belongs on there. You know, like I said, I mean, there are definitely examples of that on there. I don't like first, like Donnie Nietis, you know, from the Philippines. I don't think he's pound for pound status, but he's on the, you usually see him on the bottom 10. I don't think he's top 10 at all, period.
Either.
You know what I'm saying? Or you got
a guy like Monster, like, easily deserves to be on there.
Exactly. You know, but it's just like
Josh Warrington is getting his. Josh Warrington is a good win away from it as well, to me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's just like, you know, people need to show more respect to the lighter weights because, like I said, and right now, like they're the ones that are making undercards hot. they're the ones that are making your main events hot.
Exactly, because they hold down, like you put these flyweights and, you know, on the undercard, they the ones throwing hands and hyping up the crowd, you know, warming up the crowd for y'all bigger niggas to come in and then bore us to death because y'all want to average 25 punches a round.
Right.
So they saving a lot of these cards, like you feel me? So it's like, put respect on their name. You know, it's bad enough if you're a fan, but if you running boxing media pages and fan pages and you got a platform and you just disrespecting, you know, that part of the sport, like, you know, that's not a good look on you, because then I can't take you serious.
Yeah.
You feel me? So you know, y'all gotta start putting respect on these lighter weights names, you know what I mean? Like, you know, y'all got YouTube, like you get the fucking, you know, be ordering fights from niggas and shit, like, man, like, come on, that gang of VHS tapes of fucking boxing.
Exactly.
You know, y'all niggas, y'all got this shit at your fingertips, and motherfuckers want to talk about shit, and then when you challenge them, it's like, nah, I'ma just be content with my ignorance and just keep fronting like I know better. Nah, man, just educate yourself. Watch these lighter weights, and you won't speak on it. If you don't want to speak on it, then cool. But then, you know, don't speak on it. Don't want to watch it, don't speak on it, because you're gonna look stupid to serious hardcore fans. You know, no one's gonna tell me that Deontay Wilder got a better record than Monster Inoue. Like no one's gonna tell me that.
Yeah,
exactly. The same thing Wilder's doing, but against better opponents.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just telling you, it's just the honest truth. Like, a lot of times, like, Abner Morez was doing the same thing Ward was doing. He came out of a tournament and he kept going, making fights, whereas Ward was just stand still, you know, promoter issues and all that shit, and he wasn't fighting often, but niggas kept his name alive. But Morez is actually putting in work, and no one wanted to have him on a pound for pound list.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having good fights every time out.
That is also true.
The Moreno fight, the Darchinian fight, the Perez, it's like, so it's like, come on, it's like, and these dudes is probably making less money. Right. Probably making 300K, 400K. That's probably big money for them. Whereas if you offer that to one of these, you know, bigger names, it's like, what? Like, nah. Jazzy Jeff his ass out my house.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the unfortunate. I mean, they don't get the respect, you know, money wise either. So it's just like, you know, the disparity is there, even though
like money wise and respect. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like
something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, you gotta put some respect on these cats, because they just train just as hard too. You know, it's just like, and just another random thing before we wrap up too about that. It's just, cause I remember too that BJ Flores, who was a never was, made, you know, had a comment about the lightweight, and this is an actual pro boxer doing that. And you know, you would think that most boxers would actually understand other boxers in terms like this. In terms of, like, you know, they actually put in work. And I saw BJ Flores actually bang. I remember too, I think he deleted it. I think it was a tweet. I think he deleted it, but I know he got such a backlash on it because just for the fact that his own ignorance.
I vaguely remember it. I remember something BJ. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember him talking greasy about the lighter weights.
Yeah, he was talking. He talked a little greasy, and he got checked for it. And it was like, he's a pro fighter. Like, he should understand more than ever how hard it is. And like, especially him. I mean, part of the lighter weights now probably make more than he does fighting. You know what I'm saying? You know, BJ Flores never was, and he never even come close to even accomplishing anything in the divisions that he's in. But have the nerve to actually talk.
He's had a career in boxing, commentator, all of that. He's gotten his shine. He's gotten his respect. Even he ain't really even do much shit in boxing. You're absolutely right, and that's what always kills me when it sees niggas with these platforms who ain't box, don't watch enough boxing, you know, but they saying the most random shit. That's just misinformed ignorance, and you got niggas that just running with it, and I just shake my head because it's like, where's the respect, man? It's like everybody got a boxing podcast now, but nobody's shooting the fade. Nobody boxing. So what is it now? You know what I mean? Like, why do I want to hear, like, niggas gotta, like, as a fan, it's up to you to listen to people and kind of figure out for yourself, is this somebody that I find myself being entertained by? Am I being educated by this individual? Are they presenting their information in a objective, unbiased way? Or if they're being biased, are they admitting their bias at least? You know, at least keeping it real, you know. Like, I know y'all niggas hear me get on Canelo a lot, and it may sound like I'm biased against him. What it is, I don't hate the dude or nothing. He's skilled. I like watching him box. He can fight his ass off, but at the end of the day, I just think he's a guy who benefits from the system too much, and a lot of people just give him, they exaggerate everything he do based off a lot of the shit he gets from the system of boxing.
Right, and the fighters the fighters like the lightweights, they don't benefit at all. They rarely get the benefits, like, you know.
Exactly. So I have a little maybe chip on my shoulder about that shit, you know. And boxing's an underdog, so why you think we always go hard when niggas get robbed on here? We the first ones to tell you, like, man, Devin Alexander, PBC fucked up his career last year, and look what happened to him now.
You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna fade into obscurity off this last loss where he just gets obliterated.
Exactly.
So that's what it is. It's really, we really want y'all niggas to start just showing love and respect to people while they on point. You know, just like you got loved ones, you know, you want to make sure they good and shit while they alive. You know, you don't want to start caring for motherfuckers when they dead.
Yeah, exactly.
They out the game.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just disrespectful. That shit just the vibe don't feel right when that shit happens.
Right.
So that's all we saying.
Yep, and that, you know, that everyone is real talk. You know what I'm saying? You know, when shit's real, we talk about it. So yeah, I mean, that's our show for tonight. You know, so we went hard. We went hard on this. You know, a lot of various topics and whatnot. So I hope you all enjoyed this. You know, I hope you enjoy this. You know, LB, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely. That 2019 boxing wrap up, Bars and Boxing Part 1 is on its way. And if y'all unfamiliar with the wrap ups we do, we basically summarize half of the year in boxing through hip hop lyrics over a Clan RP beat, and I just go in and, you know, I give y'all, you know, your little one-liners and just talk about the sport, everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? Bars and Boxing, basically. We gonna have that out to you soon. The Pacquiao Thurman video is up. You know, ringgangradio.com. It's on the IG. It's on Twitter. It's on Ring Gang TV. We got a lot of visuals out there. Original content. We not recycling other niggas' shit. You know, we giving you real shit, real original content in a diverse way. So, you know, like we said, y'all, I hope y'all appreciate these boxers when they on and they doing it, before it's too late, we just wish y'all, we hope y'all do the same with us. And so that's all I pretty much got to say, my nigga. GOAT artist.
That's real talk. So I mean, my final thoughts are, I mean, all I want for our listeners, you probably want us to still, probably after 4th of July. But if you do, hopefully you do have a safe 4th of July, and don't be holding no damn fireworks in your hand and lighting them shits off. Else you end up like Jason Pierre-Paul, with a dude has an ET hand, and whatnot. So. That's for my football niggas out there. If you ever seen his hand, it's frightening. So yeah, don't play around with no fireworks. Fireworks are dangerous, man. You gotta be careful out there. Other than that, drink good, eat good, smoke good, whatever you do, man. Just chill out on this 4th of July, man. Just be safe. And so yeah, I mean that's all I gotta say. For myself, Patscorpio, the New England representative. For Shutterworth da Gawd, LB, GOAT artist, I'm saying we out of here. Till next week. 1.